Have you ever imagined bringing a car from Need for Speed into the real world? Well, today I'm going to show you it's definitely possible with Sonny's GTi Golf from Need for Speed Most Wanted. In the last episode, you watched me create both the front and the rear arch on Sonny's GTi. But today, I'm going to be focusing my attention on making this side skirt look absolutely perfect. So to get this car ready for the blacklist, we've got a lot of work to do. So here's the current state of the side skirt. It looks pretty horrendous, but by the end of this video, I promise it will look amazing. Before I do anything to that side skirt, I want to show you my artillery for today. So these are my weapons of choice. Each one of these sanders serves a very different purpose, and most importantly, I've got my respirator because I don't fancy getting lung cancer anytime soon. And that brings me on to my secret weapon. So right here, we've got ourselves a laser level. So I'll ping the laser over there. You can probably make that out against the wall. And this is going to be so important when getting that side skirt bang on. So the first thing I'll do, I'll jack the car up in the air so I can put axle stands underneath it. Then I'll turn the lights off so I can see that laser level line that little bit better. That was an absolute nightmare of a job getting this car level, but you can see I put a pen line here and there's one on the back as well. The reason I was struggling to get this pen line accurate is because I'm having to use images that are on my phone of Sonny's GTi. So I'm having to zoom in and then use a ruler to measure those images and then apply it to this car as well. And it's easier said than done, let me tell you. But if I want accuracy, there's no other way of doing it really. Anyway, that brings me on to the next thing. The next step is to take my trusty wood saw that's covered in God knows what and trim along the black line here and on the back. So we're going to skip to the point where I've done that and I'll show you what it looks like. I've trimmed the bottoms, but it's still not looking pretty. So I believe the next step is to start trimming this top edge and then work down from it. I'm not going to focus on the underside of it just yet because I want to get the measurements on top so I can then work 100mm down and then start trimming all of this nice and neat. And then I can start working on the underside of the side skirt. I don't think this side skirt's going to be too difficult to make in comparison to the parts that I've already done, but I feel as if it's still going to throw problems my way because that's just how my life goes. And one of those problems is going to be knowing how and where to fix the mounting points for this side skirt on the underside of it. So that's a bridge I'm going to have to cross when I come to it, I guess. So I got stuck into it straight away, stripping back this filler until the point where I figured something just wasn't right. I've just stopped what I'm doing for a second because I've realised I made a mistake. So you can see that new pen line there, it sort of curves inwards here and then back out, whereas before you can clearly see that I've just domed it all the way along this side, and it shouldn't be like that. So I've got the photo here to go off. You can see that it clearly dips in and then comes back out towards this part. So I've got to take all of this part off now and just follow that line. So my mask needs to go back on and I've got to knock down all that filler. It was so annoying having to sand back all that filler to then re-sculpt it when I thought I had it perfect the first time round, but I guess it has to happen if I'm chasing perfection. That's looking so much better in comparison to the pictures. The next step, however, isn't to do the back of it just yet. I'm going to use my laser level from this line here up to around this point here somewhere, and I'm going to make a nice like smooth gradient going all the way up to this point there, and then I can start filling or sanding this little line here. I need to get it dead straight and then I can focus on the back of it because this line determines how the back of it and all of this section here is going to go. It's sort of the same process as what I've done in the last video with these arches. I built this section out first just to create this nice little ledge, and then I built this section along here with the filler, and that was creating two ledges that I could just rest my applicator on and just go all the way over the top with the filler, and it gave me this lovely smooth effect. But I'm going to do the same thing with this side skirt. Well, hopefully it works the same as that. It should do because it's flat, but we'll see how it goes. So when I'm applying this filler, I don't have to be neat with it. I'm just trying to make sure that the filler covers where the laser level line is. The filler's had time to go off, so with this pen I'm going to draw a line where this laser level line is, and then I can knock the top of this down then with the belt sander, giving me a nice smooth edge. I've just got to repeat that process on this side of the side skirt as well. So once I've done all that, we'll come back to it. I don't know how, but I'm trusted with power tools to do this. So with the belt sander, I'll trim down that little laser level line as much as I can, and then I'll start sanding the in-between part between the body of the car and the outside of the line, just to create a void so I can apply filler and not get any high spots in the way. I've got that laser line exactly where I need it. The next step is to go along it with the belt sander and take back all of the excess filler. Once I've done that, I can use some masking tape to basically mark where the line is, and then I can fill to where the bottom of the tape is. Hopefully that makes sense to you, but that's the same process that I've done on the rear arch and the front arch. So we're going to get this knocked back and taped up, and we're going to see how it looks once I've done that. So the belt sander has came out yet again. It's definitely the best tool for doing this sort of stuff because I can get a nice straight line with it, whereas with the DA sander it's just not possible. Once I've done that, I'll give the area a quick clean down and a wipe over, and then we can start applying the masking tape. Now I've finished with the masking tape, I can apply the filler to the bottom of where the masking tape is. Once the filler's gone off a little bit, I'll peel the tape off and it'll give me a perfect line. You can see I've bulked this edge up with the filler. The next step is to sand it down to the laser level line, and then we can start applying more filler over the top of it using this section here and the back section as a guide, so I can run the spreader all the way across there, and that'll give me a nice flat surface. And then there's going to be barely any sanding required. Because it's giving that nice smooth surface, I don't have to do any of it. I might have to fill in a few pinholes with some dolphin glaze, but that's about it. So let's get this knocked down and see how it looks once I've done that. So I'm basically repeating the exact same process I've just done on the rear part of the side skirt, except for now I'll draw a pen line over where I've just sanded on the edge, just to see if there's any deviations in what I've done. The next step is to slap a load of filler on there, so I can then go over the top of it with the spreader, get it nice and smooth, and also, yes, judging by my facial expressions, this requires a lot of focus. I then repeat the same process for the rear part of the side skirt, but after looking at the midsection I realised that it's sticking out just a little bit too far, so I measure 5mm all the way along it, and then I just trim it back with the belt sander again to make it exactly how I need it. I'm about 90% finished with this side skirt. There's a few little refinements that I want to make. There's some pinholes in the top of it and some stuff going on down here and there as well, but we can come back to that. Most importantly, it's starting to look like a side skirt. The next step is to measure 100mm from the top of this line down, and then I'm going to draw a line wherever it lands, going all the way across the side skirt, and then I'm going to absolutely attack it with a grinder. So there's not much more to do with this side skirt apart from the underside, but I probably shouldn't have said anything, I've just jinxed myself now. But anyway, I'm making a lot of progress, and let's carry on with this. Here's a tool I didn't think I was going to need. So this is a set square, and it's going to make my life so much easier. The idea to this, I can just rest it on the top of there. It's already measured at 100mm, so all I have to do is put the pen at the bottom and go along with it like that. And we're going to do the whole side skirt like this. You can really see that the side skirt is starting to take shape now, and when I was cutting that then, it kicked up so much dust. You probably already noticed, but this window is open, and that's not because it's broken or anything, it's just because I'm too lazy to do it up. But anyway, this car isn't going to be my personal car, it's going to go to the scrapyard once I've finished building this body kit. So if any of you need any parts, let me know in the comments, and I'll take them off at some point for you. But yeah, the interior doesn't bother me. It was mouldy when I brought the car. The seat, the driver's seat is completely collapsed, and there's nothing really worth salvaging inside there. So it doesn't matter if it's open like that. and also it was growing a lot of mold in there, and leaving the windows open, it's sort of drying it out. So yeah, I'm not too fussed if I do get dust in there at this moment in time. But yeah, the next step, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put some filler along this piece here, and then basically repeat the process of what I've done along the top of these edges here, and just build a lip along the bottom. Sand it down, make it nice and flat so it comes perfect with the top piece, and then I can fill it out with more filler, and then this top section's done. Also, I have trimmed the underside of the side skirt. So you can see here, there's some foam that's still stuck in this little gully. But yeah, all of this came to this part of the sill, and when I took it back, I realised that I left the mounting brackets from the old side skirt on here still. So I'm going to try and reuse these with the new side skirt that I'm building. And to be fair, I don't think it's going to be too difficult doing that underneath. I think I'm going to have to use fiberglass to make the brackets for the mounting points. But apart from that, I think we're onto a winner with this. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I still need to sand this side skirt flat and slap some filler on this. And just like that, the filler's on there. I've also created this little ledge down here, and this is the next problem that I'm stuck with. So this ledge along here, it's going to be extremely difficult to make that mirrored to the top piece here. I don't have nothing to go off. I can't exactly use a laser level on it because of the different angles that it's coming at. So I think I'm going to have to freehand this, and hopefully it turns out as good as I'm imagining, but it's going to take a lot of time. I just know it. From this angle, you'll see exactly what I mean. So the bottom piece sticks out more, but I need to try and mirror this piece to this top piece, and I can't rub a sander over the top of it because it might rub away some of this top edge. So that's the dilemma I'm stuck with, but hopefully we can get around that by freehanding it and working my magic on it. I've just had the best idea since sliced bread. Here's my thought process. I'm not going to need anything apart from masking tape, a pen and a bit of cardboard. So the plan is I'm going to put masking tape on the top of here, draw along this edge, I'll probably trim it with a knife, and then take it off, put it on the cardboard, draw around it on the cardboard, cut it, and then I've got my own template. So I can put that on the underside of here, and I'm praying it's going to work, but I can't see why it wouldn't.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating things so hard. You be claiming it's cool.
I've made the templates for both of these sections here. Probably noticed this one isn't on there, and that's because it's under here, ready to go, and I hope you appreciate my bodgeries with this tape. I had no other way of fixing it, so tape it is. So now we've got that in place, I can sand this messy layer back to where the cardboard is, and that will be perfectly mirrored to this top piece, I hope. And then the next step is to basically fill all of this in, once I've done the other side as well, of course, and then we're pretty much ready on this top piece, and we can focus on the part underneath. Now I have had a think about the underside of the side skirt as well. I was going to make fiberglass fixing points, but then I thought once I 3D scan it, I can add those little fixing points into the 3D drawings once I upload it to my laptop, and I can work on it. So I don't actually need to do it to the side skirt physically, I can do it virtually, and that's what I'm going with. And now we're just going to start smashing this out because we are so close to completion. So let's do it. Yet again, I'm using the set square just to get that mark at 100mm, and then I can get to work with the DA sander, whipping it all back down to that pen line. It looks like the hard work is paying off after all, because these lines are looking really sharp. All of the underside has been completely smoothed off now, and without further ado, let's get this filler slapped on.
Yeah, my life is lovely now, I'm focused on me. You said you were about to die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you finding, see you looking down and out, coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around.
So here's the moment of truth, let's see how it's turned out. It's not much different to the picture, that looks pretty bang on in my eyes. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out at the moment. And the next thing is to tackle the underside of the car. So if you join me under here, you can see all the way along here, I've got to still get some more foam out. And then once I dig some of this foam out to create the void, we can then filler it, and then it's pretty much done. And here's what I was on about earlier. So here are the fixing points right there. So I think that I can make my own fixing points once it's 3D scanned, and then I can put it on the laptop. So I don't think it's gonna be too difficult getting that done. So I guess it's time to get one of the sanders and chop away at this. The biggest issue under here was trying to sand the under seal off the metal part of the sill. Trust me, it did not want to come off. I went on my phone, I got a little bit distracted and realised I was building a side skirt, so I had to get straight back to work. Okay, the underside is completely prepped and ready to go. The next step is to slap the filler on there and smooth it out. Let's do it.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone.
So after having a fight with gravity and almost poking my eye out with that spreader, I sort of got the hang of it in the end with working underneath the car. Also, just a quick tip for you guys, if you decide to do any body work to your own car, just make sure you wear gloves when you do it, because this filler gets stuck to your hands and you won't get it off for days. And there we have it, the side skirt is finally finished. Well, I say finished, there's still a little bit more to do. I've still got to fill inside here and get rid of some of the pinholes that are left behind, but I'm happy with how it's turned out. I will be doing a different video on finishing off all these little bits like the arches, the side skirt, and even the rear bumper, because when I made these arches, there's something went on here. I'm not going to explain what happened, but something happened there. And that brings me on to the following thing. So in the next episode, I will be tackling the dreaded front bumper. It looks a lot more complex than the rest of the stuff that I've done with this car, but it's nothing I can't do really. So just looking at it, it's gonna be a bit of a nightmare, but we'll see how it goes once it comes to it. The video's not over just yet though. There's still one other thing I need to show you. Just need to run out of this unit and into the other one. And what I want to show you is inside this unit. So underneath that cover lies the next project for this channel, and yes, it's Need for Speed related and it's a car from the blacklist. So I'm going to let you guys have a guess at what it could be. Actually, I'll give you a little sneak peek of what it might be. If you really thought I was going to reveal the new project car, you must be crazy. The only way you're seeing this thing is if you come back for the next video. So if you have enjoyed what I've done today with SONNY'S GTi, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment on what you think this thing could possibly be. Thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you in the next one.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. How'd I end up alone? I'm not certain.